So normally I would have this scripted and I'd have it overlaid over a gameplay video, but I just wanted to do this video kind of as quick as possible so I can go back to playing Breath of the Wild. You guys are watching Takun's Nintendo Switch review, kind of like a first impressions review. I can't really review this thing because it's not really there yet, but this is a week and some change after the Switch came out, so first impressions review. This is the Nintendo Switch itself. This is what it looks like without the Joy-Cons. This is the whole system. I got a screen protector on it with a bunch of fingerprints and a couple bubbles because I suck at putting on screen protectors. But yeah, this is it. This is how big it is. For comparison's sake, this is my smartphone, Samsung Galaxy S3. You can see how small this is if you haven't seen one already. If you don't own one, um, it's pretty small. To drive the point home, how small this thing is, wait for it. Ugh, get up. That small in my pocket. And I'm a short guy, so these pockets aren't particularly large. But the Switch itself is pocket size. Obviously, if I add on the Joy-Con controllers, it gets a little big, doesn't fit your pocket quite like that. But you see the idea of the size of this thing. So I think this system is pretty slick, and for obviously the size of this, it's pretty powerful. So we go over the top here, power button, which is kind of indented in there. You can't just accidentally bump the button. It's like kind of dug in there. Got your volume rocker. Maybe I should put this closer. Power button, volume rocker. We got the vents over here. Game card. Wait for it. Y'all want to see the game I'm playing? Boom, plot twist. I download all my games. I don't have any physical games at all. So yeah, there's that. On the sides, there's a bunch of screws, and obviously where you slide the Joy-Cons. Screws are there if you want to take it apart. Plenty of videos of people already taking this thing apart, so I will not be doing that. And go watch one of their videos. Bottom here is just a USB-C charging thing majig, so put it in the dock and it charges and it plays on the TV and all this other cool stuff on the back. There's a Switch logo. Bam, looks pretty slick. And well, over here, I'm smart. Kickstand and my micro SD card, which is 64 gigabytes, nothing too crazy. But for now, it's going to hold all the games that I need it to hold. I have 3 games downloaded: Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild, Fast RMX, and I Am Setsuna. I haven't played I Am Setsuna yet, so I'm bouncing back and forth between Breath of the Wild and Fast RMX, mostly Breath of the Wild. Like that game is pretty crack right now, but that's a different video, different story. Moving on to BAM, the Joy-Cons. These things are pretty cool. I obviously have the red and blue Joy-Cons, add a little personality to my Switch. How do I feel about the Joy-Cons themselves? Now, I did get my hands on the Joy-Cons for a little bit at Genesis 4. It was in January before the Switch came out. I was playing ARMS with the motion controls with the Joy-Cons, and for that, I thought it was pretty cool. These Joy-Cons are fairly small. I don't have the largest hands. They fit into my hands actually pretty comfortably, but because I have small hands, I could definitely see where the complaints are coming from other people. So yeah, I hold them, like I said, fit pretty naturally, fit pretty comfortably. I don't really have any issues playing with the individual Joy-Cons, like holding these Joy-Cons separately like this. Playing Zelda is fine, and it's good if you want to be laid back and lazy and just play your games. Here we have the left and the right Joy-Cons. So let's start with the left. Obviously, your little nub there. I say nub because that's what it feels like. It feels very similar to the Vita nub, like a step above the Vita nub. Maybe like 2 steps above the Vita nub. We'll just go with 1 step for now. So it doesn't have much actual movement to it, but it actually using it feels a lot better than, like I said, the Vita. I keep comparing it to the Vita because that's the movement feels like, but the actual feel of the thumbstick itself is pretty good. And you can click down on the Joy-Con control sticks because there's buttons there, just like in any other modern controller you would have PS4, Xbox One, all that good stuff. Going back, we have the D-pad, the directional pad, which is also 4 separate buttons, obviously for when you're playing like this. I haven't personally held the Joy-Cons. I've obviously held it like this, but I haven't played any games like this. I haven't had a need to. I haven't played any multiplayer yet. I haven't had a friend over and be like, here, take this Joy-Con, let's both play Fast RMX. That hasn't happened for me yet, so I can't really judge how that plays out, how comfortable I think that is. But holding it in my hand like this, I can say for me, it's decently comfortable, fairly comfortable. Like I said, I also have small hands, so you shouldn't go what if I say if you have larger hands. We can go ahead and slide on the wrist strap onto this, and it feels better, but it doesn't really improve too much. So if you have big man hands, then probably want to hold off. Easy way to pull these things off: press down the release button, make sure your little lock thing is off, and push this end. That's the easy way to do it, I found. For those of you struggling with that, there you go. So, final button on the front-facing parts, not the final button, one of the cool buttons on the front-facing part of this left Joy-Con is the screen cap button. Works very well, takes screenshots basically instantly, saves it into a album on the operating system for your Switch, and it's pretty slick, pretty seamless. It's cool. I like it. Minus button right here, L and ZL right here, these work pretty okay. The L button itself feels kind of small, honestly, but it works. And then on the inside, you guys can't really see it. The camera doesn't really want to focus right here, but it's called SL and SR for when you're holding it individually sideways, like so. Right Joy-Con, we have the diamond button layout, A, B, X, Y, you guys know how it goes, plus button up here, which is basically the start button, and you have your second little thumbstick right there. Feels the same as the first one, it's just placed directly below the buttons, which is takes a little getting used to. It feels really fine when it's attached to the system itself. When you have it separated in individual hands, or you're using the charging grip, it takes some getting used to. I haven't I adjusted pretty quick, so I can't really complain about it. But yeah, it does feel a little funky, like if I'm holding it just like this by itself to go between the buttons and the joystick. Home button, which will wake your system up if it's sleep, and that's how you get to the OS and the menu and navigate everything, all that good stuff. Um, that's what that one is right here. And then same as the other Joy-Con, you got your R and ZR, and then SL and SR. Is that what it is? Yeah, that's what it is in there. Oh, and each Joy-Con has the sync button right there, in case you're wondering where that was. That's how you would sync new Joy-Cons to your system and all that good stuff. Attached to the Switch, this is what it looks like, and yes, I purposely held it at this exact angle so you can watch me watching me. Takunception. Anyways, here in handheld mode, the Switch is awesome. It feels good to hold it like this. It doesn't feel bad. If you're looking for a really good handheld, here it is. Like, it has all the controls that you would expect from a actual console controller, as far as all the different buttons, including the joystick buttons. So as far as the handheld goes, this is awesome. Here we have the Joy-Con grip, which is a piece of plastic. This doesn't do anything special at all. You literally just slide your Joy-Cons in on the side, and it kind of feels like a regular controller. There's no battery to this thing. It doesn't charge your Joy-Cons, which I think was nonsense that Nintendo decided to put just an empty shell in here instead of like the actual Joy-Con charger. So for those of you that don't have the charging grip, you're stuck with this, like me, like yours truly. You can charge the Joy-Cons by having your Joy-Cons on the Switch as the Switch is plugged in. So either in handheld mode when you have it plugged in, you're holding it, or if you're just sitting it on the dock and you go do something else, you just put the Joy-Cons on the Switch as it's sitting in the dock and it charges like that. So if I put the Joy-Cons in the Joy-Con grip, this is what it sounds like. Click, click. This is what it looks like. Looks kind of weird, and it feels a little funny to hold at first. I got used to it pretty quick, and for me, like I said, smaller hands. So this, for me, it's comfortable. Just took a little getting used to because of the everything is directly above and below everything else, as opposed to with a regular controller. It's kind of like you slide your thumbs like a little diagonally, but I can't really complain. Got used to it pretty quick. I could see how people were complaining about this though, and Those people have invested in a Pro controller, which was definitely sold out by the time I had the money to get one. So I can't review the Pro controller because I don't have one, but I hear nothing but good things about it, so I'll take everyone's word for it. Now I'm not gonna pull the dock out of there and just like hold it in front of the camera. It's just a piece of plastic. It has a USB-C charger at the bottom and an HDMI cable connected to your TV, and there you go. That's all it does. It has a couple USB ports on it. I have tested my USB keyboard, which I don't have next to me. I have a wireless USB keyboard, and that works on the Switch. And I have also connected my USB to Ethernet adapter to the Switch. That works as well for wired internet. So these are accessories I had from the original Wii that I've been using ever since. But yeah, it all works on the Switch. The operating system for this thing is, how do I put this? Bare bones at best. So the user interface itself, it looks fine, works fine. It's actually pretty quick, pretty slick. You can get to everything fast. Basically, games load decently fast. You can get to menus. They open pretty quick. And anything on this thing, as far as like the OS goes, moves pretty quick. Very bare bones. There's no music. There's like very limited options what you can do with this thing. Really, all you can do is play games right now. I mean, you can add friends to your Switch, but why would you do that? You have to type in a 12-digit friend code onto your Switch, and then after that, that's it. There's nothing you can do. You can, oh, hey, your friends are online. What are they doing? Plot twist, they're playing Breath of the Wild. That's all anyone's playing right now, at least with my friends. So you just see the game they're playing. I have Fast RMX on here. It has online, it has multiplayer, but I can't send friend invites yet. There's an update coming out for that, but look, at the moment, all I'm saying is there's no reason to add people onto your Switch because all you do is just like you're kind of like looking inside like someone else's house, like you're like walking by in the rain, you like see your friend inside their house playing their Switch. Oh, I'm playing Breath of the Wild. I'm having a good time. You're like, wow, I wish I could send something to you. I wish I could say something. I wish I could send you a screenshot of like how cool is going on my end. But no, there's no messaging. There's you can't, like I said, invite friends to games. There's very few multiplayer games in the first place, so really pointless to add people on your Switch right now. So I'll go ahead and talk about the eShop for a little bit because obviously I'm downloading all my games. I spend a decent amount of time with the eShop. eShop starts up quick. It works the way it's supposed to. It does all this bare bones stuff. You scroll through a list of games, which is a very small list right now, so they all fit onto one little page. You pick the game, download it. There's no little fancy music that's playing. There's no little charming download animations that happen when you're downloading your games. Like with the 3DS, there was they had a couple things, but I know with the Wii, there's like Mario and Peach and everything just like dumping data into a box, and with the 3DS, you had the little drop down little colored boxes, and obviously it's not like great or anything, but if you're just like staring at your game waiting for it to download, it kind of helps. But the Switch doesn't have any of that. It's just downloading. Little percentage bar. Pretty standard and boring. As for the games themselves, I'm not going to review any game specifically, not review any game in particular. I'm just going to say, in general, like the library of games as it stands right now, not too much. It's a little better than it was at launch because this is like a week and a couple days after it came out, and there was update to the eShop Thursday. Was it Thursday? Thursday or Friday? And we got some more games. We got Master Blaster. Master Blaster? Is that what it's called? Well, we got some more games on there. Like I said, the only three games I have right now: Breath of the Wild, Fast RMX, and I Am Setsuna. So as far as the library of games goes, obviously it's not there right now. And honestly speaking, the launch lineup was kind of weak. Even in comparison to the Wii U. I mean, everyone likes to clown the Wii U, and for some reason, when the Wii U came out, we were trying to pretend it had a bad launch lineup, but it really didn't. The Wii U launched with Mario, it launched with Zombie U, it launched with Call of Duty Black Ops 2, Assassin's Creed 3, Batman Arkham City, and it had some other stuff I can't remember from the top of my head right now. I mean, not like a stellar launch lineup, but it wasn't weak by any means, and the Switch has a weaker launch lineup than that. So, overall, what do I think of the Switch? What does Takun have to say about his final verdict of the first impressions of the Switch. This thing's cool. I like it. The hardware is slick. It's very well thought out, well designed. Even though there had to be some compromises to, make the Joy-Cons the way they are. Some people don't like it, and that's fine. Everyone has their opinion. I haven't run into any issues with my Switch, which is probably why I'm being a little lenient towards it. Outside of when I unboxed this thing and the left Joy-Con had like no battery charge to it for some reason. After I fully charged the Joy-Cons, I haven't run into any issues with this thing, honestly. It's really cool. It does what it's supposed to do. Putting the Switch in and out of the dock is pretty seamless, just as advertised. So I'm impressed. This thing has a lot of potential. I like it. I just can't recommend it yet. Let's think about this here. The only two games I'm really playing on the Switch right now are Breath of the Wild, which is also on the Wii U, and Fast RMX, which is some people are calling it a sequel, some people are just calling it like an update. Whatever it is, Fast Racing Neo is on the Wii U, and that game also runs pretty fine on the Wii U. So there's no real reason to run up and get a Switch if you have a Wii U right now. The Switch right here, this thing is for the hardcore Nintendo fans, hardcore Zelda addicts, like crack addicts. Like if you need to be playing Zelda all day, every day, no matter where you are at any given point in time, the Switch is for you. You need to get the Switch, actually. Yeah, that you will need a Switch. But if you're not that person, you can wait. You can hold off. Wait for some of the other titles to drop. So there's going to be Splatoon 2 coming out here soon, and then Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Actually, switches around. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe comes out first, and then Splatoon 2, and then some of the other later on titles such as Mario Odyssey, Xenoblade 2, and a bunch of stuff coming out between then and now. So I think this thing is really going to be like worth having this holiday season. That's when it'll have a decent library of games, and obviously the hardware is pretty slick. I'm sure there's going to be firmware updates between now and then. I really hope there's going to be firmware updates between now and then that makes some of the missing features here, some of the basic features on the OS, a lot better. So quick recap, unless you're a Zelda or a Nintendo addict, you can hold off, you can wait a little bit. I can't recommend picking up one right at this very moment. Not that you could anyways, because I'm pretty sure they're sold out everywhere. But then again, what would I know? I'm just some guy on the internet.